Okay, hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Isabelle Knight, and I'm the middle grade fantasy author of the Enchantria series. And today I am back here again with another writing update. So, yeah. Hold on, let me just get these books away. I have a lot of things on the desk right now, as usual. Lots of notebooks and manuscripts and all that. But yeah, hi and welcome back to my channel. And yeah. So recently, in my previous video, I told you that I was revising book 4 in the Enchantria series, and that I had printed out part of my manuscript so that I could edit and make notes and handwrite in some margins and between the lines and all that. And well, I would say I'm almost done, kind of. So this is currently what I have to show for it, and it's a lot of pages. It's kind of heavy, and honestly, there are so many pages it doesn't even fit the binder. I mean, the binder, I don't know if it's called a binder, but this is a binder, and it's this thin, the spine of this, and my book it's a very big pile of papers with lots of notes and margins. And yeah, I was editing all of this. Pages look kind of like this. The red part is for, wait, is this the red part? Yeah, the red part is for all of the important stuff, the important notes or suggestions for the next draft, and the things in the blue, dark blue pen, that's just regular suggestions, I would say. So yeah, I said I was almost done with this. I stopped at let me see, right before the climax, and I discovered something, and it's also something that could also possibly delay book 4, but yeah, as I was going through my manuscript and just really thinking about the book, well, I realized something. Most of the book is mainly just battle after battle after battle. And that is not what I was going for, I guess you could say. Okay, I guess I was going for it, but I realized that I had a lot of stuff happening for the sake of happening, because when I finished book 3, there were a lot of things I wanted to happen in book 4, including a lot of battles and character deaths. And also, if you guys read the previous books in my series and were hoping that I wasn't going to kill off any characters, sadly you're wrong, because I am going to have to kill off some of the characters in the series in book 4. So, yeah. But basically, I had a bunch of ideas for what I wanted to happen in book 4, and while I was writing that, I was just throwing all of these things in and trying to just, I guess, shove it all in. And it didn't work out, mainly because, it's just stuff I wanted to happen, but they didn't have any real purpose in the book, and so that is why right now I have a lot of scenes I have got to cut, and there's a very, very small portion of this draft that I can actually keep. And that, so yeah, that's what's been going on. And I also realized a bunch of stuff, other than all of the plot and having things happening for the sake of happening. My characters need real motivation. Eleonora is whiny. I've mentioned this in my previous videos, And, you know, I've been going through this draft, and she honestly is kind of whiny. Like, she's mainly just moping about and all that, and it's not that interesting to read through. Yeah, so I am going to cut all of that, try and get Eleonora to try more and not just be moping about. And I also want to make sure that, like, even though book 4 is possibly the last book in the series, possibly because yesterday, let's just say I was having a bunch of doubts and wondering if this is the last book in the series. Even now, I am not sure, but if it's possible that this is the final book in the series. So, like, even though this is a final book in the series and things have to be, well, I want things to be kind of tense and high stakes and build upon all of the things in the previous books, I can't just make it like terrible thing after terrible thing after terrible thing after terrible thing. I mean, I could, but I don't know if I really want to do that, because I also do want to actually let the heroes win sometimes. And just having terrible thing after terrible thing after terrible thing after terrible thing happening is, 1, not the most interesting to read, 2, rather depressing to read. Totally not what I was going for. And I think I also realized that, like, well, honestly, I'm not sure about this yet because it's very complicated, but basically I'm not sure if this is exactly how to write book 4. So, yeah, like, it's just that I had a lot of ideas of stuff I wanted to happen, and so I did write down all of that, but, like, now I don't think this is actually the way to write book 4. Like, this is not book 4, not really what I envisioned for book 4. So it's possible that this manuscript, this draft, is getting tossed out of the window while I keep the very few parts that can be salvaged. What's the word? Salvaged? You know what? Never mind, but I will be keeping the very few parts that can be kept and tossing the rest out of the window. Not literally, because that would just be a mess, and I would like to keep all of my notes and the manuscript. But yeah, so it's possible I'm going to have to do a slight rewrite of book 4 and totally change the direction of it. So yeah, honestly, I'm not sure because it's just so complicated, and I'm not sure if I will stick with this direction. I'm not sure if this is going to work out, but I'm rather desperate, and I'm going to just try a bunch of different ways. But I do know that this is probably not the way to write book 4. So yeah, that is good. Not exactly good, but okay, it's not good that the draft turned out to be such a mess, but it is good that I did finally realize that. So, yeah. Today I've basically been working on the revisions for book 4. I didn't start totally from scratch. I did keep, like, the first 11,000 words of the first manuscript, and from there the whole the whole book basically switches directions. Hopefully this turns out well. I'm incredibly terrified of doing this. I actually had a little writer's panic fest yesterday because of this, because, like, I just had absolutely no idea what to do. It's a new direction. As I've said, I have absolutely no idea if this is going to work. And sometimes I will say, like, oh, I have this new direction, and, like, this is going to totally work. And then all of a sudden, it just falls apart. And that is what I am absolutely terrified of happening. So, yeah, that wouldn't be good. Yeah. And, yeah. So, yeah, I have been working on that today. I've also, yesterday I wrote Island Keepers for a bit. I wrote around 4,000 words for Island Keepers. Did a bit of revision. Haven't written my secret project as much during like the last few days because I am juggling so many projects right now. It is hard to keep track of them. And I've also discovered that while I was writing both Island Keepers and my secret project, the two main characters are incredibly different characters. And, I had some of their personalities sort of bleed into each other's stories. For example, in Island Keepers, my main character, Ani Cloudstar, was acting a bit like the main character of my secret project. And that had me totally confused. Especially since the main character of my secret project is basically living rent-free in my head. I keep on hearing her thoughts in my head all of the time. And that has honestly never happened to me before. So, yeah, hopefully that's a good sign. I don't know, but yeah. So, yeah, that's what's been going on. And yeah, I also think one of the things that made me change directions for book 4 was a song. And this is probably going to sound incredibly weird, but I was listening to a song on either YouTube or Spotify. I don't remember where, but I was listening to a song and I don't know, something about the feeling of that song felt kind of right for book 4, and I just kind of wanted book 4 to feel like that. And yeah, I am not going to tell you which song it was. I don't know why, but I'm not going to tell you which song it was. But yeah, I just felt like this was kind of the right feeling for book 4, and so I decided to change. Yes, so I decided to change some of that. So now book 4, I think, is probably not going to be battle after battle after battle. So hooray, that is a good thing, because I don't want to write that. I would not want to read that either. So yeah, I've been doing some sort of plotting, just a very, very, very vague outline of my book. I am a pantser, so that means I basically just go with the flow and make up the story as I go along. But for some more complicated projects, I will do an incredibly vague outline, and that basically just looks like I will list down what will happen 1/4 of the way in the story, I guess, at 1/4 of the story. What will happen at the midpoint, I don't know what it's called, but basically once half of the story has been written, then 3/4 of the story, and then finally the resolution and all that. And that is basically how I plot. I have tried plotting and brainstorming really long notes and really detailed outlines, and I just abandoned that project. That project was KNA. For those of you who are up to date on my YouTube channel, you will know that I participated in NaNoWriMo this year, and I started a project called KNA. That's basically the working title, and definitely not the official title. But basically, that was how I wrote that story, and I also put a lot of pressure on myself, so that project was sadly abandoned, And it is so sad because that was a really cool idea, kind of like Keeper of the Lost Cities and Jinxed by Amy McCulloch. I don't remember her last name, but basically kind of like those two books mixed together, and it was very cool. But I probably overplanned way too much and put way too much pressure on myself, so that project was abandoned. But yeah, that is what has been going on in my writing life recently. March, I think, is going to be a very busy month, especially since I have a bunch of author interviews planned. So you guys can definitely watch out for those on my YouTube channel and on my blog. And yeah, I think this probably wraps up this writing update. I don't know when I'll do another update or if I'll do another update, because I think I probably work best when things are kept to myself and basically kept a secret, and that's probably when I work best. So not sure if I'll share another writing update or if I'll share a lot about my book in future writing updates. I'm not sure yet, but yeah. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe to my channel. And definitely don't forget to check out my blog, springfallschronicle.com, where I share some more things about my book series and a bunch of book reviews. I feel like I haven't been doing that many book reviews on YouTube recently, so sorry about that. Hopefully I'll do another one soon, but you will find a lot of book reviews on my blog, so if you want to go find that, so definitely go check out my blog. And yeah, I will see you again in the next video, I guess. Bye. Wish me luck with revisions. Bye.